Bonjour à tous. Avant que l'interview commence, nous tenons à remercier chaleureusement Julia Moss, qui a été notre interprète tout le long de l'interview. Et vous allez voir que malgré des difficultés, un peu de connexion, et on a dû couper des passages où elle nous traduisait pour que ce soit plus facile pour que vous puissiez regarder cette interview. Nous avons sous-titré l'anglais et le français pour les deux camps. Voilà. Donc, encore, on tient à remercier du fond du cœur Julia, qui a été avec nous tout le long de cette interview. Voilà. Écoutez, je vous laisse profiter maintenant de ce moment unique. Allez, bonne interview à vous. Alors, bienvenue à tous sur PPTV Paranormal. Ce soir, face à la caméra spéciale internationale. Ce soir, nous avons la chance inouïe de recevoir avec nous Paranormal Research Investigators UK, qui sont une association de paranormal en Angleterre. Voilà, donc on va découvrir cette association-là, qui font du superbe boulot. On vous donnera toute leur adresse et toute leur communication pour que vous puissiez voir ce qu'ils font. C'est super. Voilà, donc écoutez, merci à vous d'être là ce soir.
Hello and thank you. You're again to begin with you today and participating in your show Face à la Caméra. My name is Jean-Louis, my friend is Marcel. We are both paranormal investigators, and I am very happy to begin your world of investigator with an English association. Sorry for our English, that the reason your friend Julia will interpreting throughout the interview.
Ma première question serait depuis combien de temps cette association existe?
Happy for Nick to explain. Me and Nick founded the group. So I don't know if you want to, Nick.
Well, I mean, if that's okay, Andy, I'll just explain that Andy and myself, we met through the Ghost Club, which is one of the old, long-established organisations, I think founded in 1862. And we decided, I think it must be nearly 10 years ago, that we decided we wanted to set up our own group. We wanted to have control of our own investigations. And we decided, I think it must be nearly 10 years ago, that we decided we wanted to set up our own group. We wanted to have control of our own investigations. So having set the group up, our rationale is that we like to think that our investigations have a scientific basis. We're not mediums or clairvoyants, and we don't use them. What we want to do, so we get a lot of inquiries through our website from private individuals. We don't actually arrange our own investigations. We wait for people to come to us, and then we try and analyse what's happening to them and record it. And so basically we're just building up a lot of data about events and what's happening to people.
D'accord.
Et est-ce que vous avez beaucoup de demandes de personnes?
Do you have a lot of people coming to you with different requests?
I would say that generally most of it seems to centre upon what we would call poltergeist activity. So in other words, people are experiencing things within their own home that they can't explain. Footsteps, items moving, items disappearing, and just generally feelings of unease. But as I say, we have to be a little bit careful when it comes to assessing people's feelings. What we want are things which are, as far as we're concerned, measurable. So in other words, are things moving? And if so, how are they moving? And the effect that those things might have on those things that make them move. Okay, Andy, would you like to take over?
Yeah. So what makes us, what we believe is different from other groups, is that we like to keep in touch with the families involved over many years to look for any types of patterns that may be emerging. In a lot of our cases, we believe about 95% of what's been reported, there are rational explanations for.
Okay.
We have Harry and James, who also offer their insight and another perspective when we meet online and we talk to the people who contact us.
Oui, très important d'avoir plusieurs
avis.
Plusieurs avis.
Yeah. We agree. We often look at videos in isolation from each other.
Yeah.
So there's no contamination of views being shared. So we listen to audio and watch videos in isolation from each other.
Yeah, we operate in much the same way, really. Everybody listens or watches the videos, and they all make up their own mind about what they think it could be, and then they come together in a discussion, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great.
If you want, Harry can just give a very brief summary of what he studies, because it's useful for the group.
Okay.
Yes. So I've done a degree in psychology, in which I studied neuropsychology, so the study of the brain. And I did also study parapsychology, which is the psychology that's meant to be behind people's alleged paranormal experiences.
Ce que j'ai fait moi aussi avant d'attaquer le paranormal, j'ai étudié la parapsychologie pour savoir à la base si c'était nous-mêmes qui se créaient des phénomènes paranormaux.
Yeah, so that's my main thing is I try and listen to a case and try and apply some of what I've learned to see if it's valid, see what the guys think about, and if it could, give a possible explanation.
Une question, comment est perçu en Angleterre le paranormal? Comment c'est vu? Et est-ce que c'est accepté?
You answer that.
I would say that it's mixed. I mean, the paranormal community in the UK is quite. I wouldn't say it's small, but everybody knows each other. So obviously that's one thing. But outside of that, it is very mixed. And I think there is still a lot of fear involved, or rather, people are worried that if they express their experiences, they might be considered insane, irrational, whatever. There's still that feeling as well.
Et est-ce que chez vous aussi en Angleterre, les réseaux sociaux ont fait du mal au paranormal, nous en France par exemple, où malheureusement les réseaux sociaux ont complètement décrédibilisé le paranormal?
Yeah, well, yes. I think what we spend a lot of time doing with people who approach us, we try to warn them not to contact certain groups if they claim to be demonologists, etc. People can be taken advantage of financially.
Yeah. I would also say that one of the things that we do find very aggravating is that television has a great influence on what people are thinking is happening to them. I mean, there are a lot of popular TV shows which promote the idea of demons, portals, and goodness knows what else. And unfortunately, a lot of people take this up. And we see trends in the way that people react or when they come to us, the information they're giving us, it's quite clearly that they've been watching these TV programs.
Oui, beaucoup. Beaucoup la télévision, oui. La télé.
J'aimerais savoir, en fait, comme ils sont 4, quel est leur rôle exact, chacun dans l'association. En fait, voilà, est-ce que tous les 4, ils vont sur le terrain ou pas?
James, would you like to pick that up?
Yeah, sure. We sort of divvy the cases up. So contact would come through the website via a form or an email, and then we sort of allocate those on a fair basis, if you like. Julia, I don't know if you want to.
So you don't. It's not all four of you that attend every investigation.
Well, there's a process we go through. So there's initial contact through to initial interview through to then investigation. So it doesn't always reach the point of investigation. But when it does, typically it will be free, because myself, Andy, and Nick are in the south part of the country. Harry's on his own up north. And most cases we get from the south.
So sometimes it's maybe just two of you that go, one of you or two of you.
You would never go individually.
Yeah.
You never go individually. Donc,
No.
ok, ils vont jamais tout seuls. Des fois, c'est peut-être deux ou peut-être trois. Ça dépend de la situation. En fait, il aura un appel et en première, ils font une interview sur le téléphone pour établir le problème que les gens ils ont chez eux. Et après, after, do you do a visit at the house before you actually do the investigation?
We can do, yeah. It depends on the circumstances.
Okay.
I mean, primarily, we want to speak to the people so that we can get a fair idea of what's happening. So we might do that by phone or Zoom meetings, so that we can get an idea of what the people are,
Okay.
But yes, we will eventually or probably visit the property as well.
Question. Alors, tout à l'heure, il nous disait donc qu'il y avait 95% de phénomènes qui étaient explicables. Donc, dans les 5%, qu'est-ce qu'ils ont eu d'inexplicable?
That tends to be what Nick referred to earlier, where we have to rely on the testimony of couples or people that claim to have poltergeist activity. And I think it's important to stress that we don't believe that they are lying. It's that we have to acknowledge that what they're saying has happened, and we don't have an alternative explanation for it. And it's almost impossible. Well, we've never managed to capture anything moving at a time when they said it might have been.
But have you had any? Because you must take videos and recordings. Have you had any things on your videos, or have you had any recordings with voices on or anything like that?
Happy to else, yeah. You want to go next? Yeah.
Well, I think that two things that do stand out. I mean, we have recorded things that we can't explain, certain noises. I think one of them was actually wasn't in somebody's home. It was actually in a fort, and we recorded what could be described or has been described as a poltergeist rap. The banging sound. We recorded that. Very hard to explain what that could possibly. We couldn't replicate it.
Okay.
But we've also recorded voices which have been analysed by experts, and they would agree that it's somebody else's voice. It isn't our voice. It's so very difficult to explain.
Okay.
We recorded what we believe was an intelligent response to a question that Nick asked in the fort. Nick asked out loud to do something, and what we got on the recorder sounded like "fu," as in, very angry.
So we have recorded in that particular location. We also recorded what appears to be a voice as well. It was a bit uncanny because it made reference to Scotsman, which for a fort in London, but it actually had connections with. I don't know how familiar you are with English history, but the Jacobite rebellion, 1700s, a lot of Scottish people taken prisoner and actually put in prison in that particular fort.
What did you say he was? Who did you say he was?
It was just literally somebody saying what sounds very much like well Scotsman. As I say, rather an obscure comment to make, except there is that historical connection that fort had with Scots people or Scottish people.
So this is the magazine passage at 2027. Just putting the device down now. So this is the magazine passage at 2027. Just putting the device down now. So this is the magazine passage at 2027. Just putting the device down now.
I think that was quite an interesting EVP. Certainly impressed us.
C'est assez vieux. Ouais.
Donc oui, ils ont eu des choses. Voilà.
Non, c'est bien intéressant.
We do have some video footage which a family gave us of what appears to be a black shadow figure of a man with, walking across the hallway, which they claim happened quite a lot every night. I think it's just worth noting that we get people from the full spectrum of society contact us.
Ouais.
D'accord.
Et est-ce qu'ils sont déjà allés, parce que bon, comme je disais tout à l'heure, en fait, ils attendent que les particuliers viennent vers eux, voilà, s'ils ont besoin. Mais est-ce qu'ils ont déjà eu envie d'aller enquêter dans des lieux célèbres, connus pour ça, pour vérifier la véracité?
Andy, you answer.
Well, when me and Nick first formed the group, we would often go to locations where they were historically famous, and so we started to do that initially, but after a few years we ended up having more and more people contact us privately in their private homes, and we prefer to explore that avenue more.
D'accord.
There is less contamination and less variables when it's just you and the family private property.
Et pour des enquêteurs français qui aimeraient, pourquoi pas avoir une aventure paranormale en Angleterre, vous leur conseillez quel site?
Well, I mean, the Fort Tilbury is the place that me and Nick got those unusual recordings that we couldn't explain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Merci.
Nick, didn't you write a newspaper article about the top 10 most haunted locations or something? The Daily Star?
Well, thank you for reminding me. Yes. I can't remember them. It was some time ago.
We also wrote a magazine article on Fort Tilbury as well, which we can send.
Ah, oui. Yeah, that would be great.
Une petite dernière question. Alors, vous avez, comme vous nous le dites, vous travaillez sur une base scientifique. Est-ce que vous êtes scientifique par défaut? Est-ce que ce sont des scientifiques? Ou est-ce qu'ils préfèrent travailler plutôt avec les machines d'enquête normales, donc tout ce qui est spirit box?
We use the principles of the scientific method, but we're not scientists trained. We use the principles of the scientific method.
So you use spirit boxes and the other equipment, the sensors and all that
No.
You don't?
No, we don't use spirit boxes. We do use recorders, video recorders, measurement tools. I mean, in the past we've used them, but it's more. It's random. It doesn't really offer a lot to what is happening, in our opinion. Yeah.
Okay. Do you use when you say to me that you use the sensors? What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, we would use a thermal imaging camera. We would use an EMF reader to look for high locations of electricity in the home. We use an EMF reader to locate any high spikes of energy in the home.
That's a tri-field, though, isn't it, Andy? A tri-field?
Just to emphasise, we don't use the EMF meter to try and detect ghosts. What we are using it for is to identify areas of high electromagnetic or a high electromagnetic field, because it can cause disturbances to people, and it can cause disorientation. So really all we're trying to do is to eliminate high EMF as a possible cause of people having hallucinations or feelings of unease. EMF, and it's purely, it's not to detect spirits or anything like that. It's just purely to detect areas where there could be a high EMF, because it's been shown that high EMF readings can create feelings of unease.
D'accord, ben écoutez, merci beaucoup, merci énormément pour cette interview. Voilà, nous allons clôturer ça maintenant.
And keep in touch. They'd like to keep in touch with you, and eventually organise if we can make a voyage, to come and see you.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd
Thank
be
you
great.
very much for getting in touch.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
We have permission to share the video clip we discussed in the meeting. The context is the couple set up motion detectors in various rooms in the home. They set a camera facing the hallway because they would frequently hear heavy footsteps each night at the same time, coming out from the bathroom, walking towards the dining room. You can also see a shadow in the video. However, on this occasion, it was during the day when the couple were sitting inside the dining room. The motion camera was set off and captured the video below. On our visit, we counted the steps it would take to walk from the bathroom to dining room, and it matched the number of steps you can hear in the video, but obviously no one is visible in the video clip except the shadow. Upon our first visit, myself, Nick and James were sitting in the living room with the couple when we all heard a chair in the dining room slide across the dining room wooden floor. We could confirm no one else was in the home, and we recreated the sound we had heard by pulling the chair out from the dining room table. Unfortunately, this happened before we had set up any recording equipment, but it did confirm to us they were telling us the truth. As they reported, they would frequently hear chairs being moved by themselves in the dining prior to our visit. The female of the home reported being attacked frequently, for example, hair pulled, bitten on leg with what looks like human teeth marks at the bottom of her leg, and she would also be pulled out of bed at times by her leg. When we asked for permission to share the video clip, the latest update we received is thankfully the female is no longer experiencing attacks, but they continue to hear footsteps and laughing noises.